Well, hello there, health coaches. Thank you so much for joining me today. It has been a while since we've done a Coach the Coach episode, and I am so excited to have Katya with us today to discuss choosing a target market. If I've had this conversation once, I have had it 5 billion times, but it never stops being interesting because our target market is the fundamental basis of all good marketing. That being said, it's not a place to get stuck or say, I can't do it, and then never go out and help anybody with their health. So today we're going to figure out that fine balance for Katya, either fully defining a target market for her, or maybe choosing a path that's going to move her forward regardless. So Katya, thank you so much for joining me.
It's a pleasure, Michelle. Thank you.
Awesome. So I know, because you are a member of Healthy Profit University's core curriculum, so I know a little bit about where you're at already. I know you've done some of the curriculum and we've talked about this a little bit already, but can you just real briefly tell our listeners what the quandary is right now with you solidifying a target market?
So basically, you tell what's your story, and then go connect with people that would understand your story. But then on the other hand, what I'm hearing outside is people are directing their efforts towards weight loss. And that's not related to my story. So my question here is, so do I go with what I'm hearing outside, or do I keep trying to get connected with people that have similar stories to mine? Although I don't think that's a big problem right now.
Right. And just let everyone know, like, your story in your perfect world. Well, who are the clients that you would love to work with? Not about weight loss, but about.
Okay. So former athletes that are no longer able to do that high intensity workout, and they have to shift to try to understand now what is it that they can do and how to bring that type A personality down to, okay, I can do something else that is balanced and that is going to give me, peace and quiet. And that's not going to bring so much stress, because the stress is going to make me gain weight. So it's kind of joining in the weight gain thing. But on the same token, my athletes are not really thinking that they need help. But the people that need to lose weight do.
Right. Because, well, if someone is really still active in their sport or actively exercising every day, then they might not be the ones with the problem. When you say former athletes, you mean former athletes that have kind of fallen off the training. They are moms now, right? They're a little bit older. They're not really in the routine they used to be, right?
Right. Even menopausal women, they used to work out a certain way, and then they hit the menopausal years and, oh man, what I used to do doesn't work anymore.
Right. Okay. So I've heard you say a few things that I want to hone in on. So one is the idea of former athletes. The second is we're talking to women who are former athletes, and not just that, but like menopausal women.
Yes.
Okay. So could we say women like 45 to 55?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And we know they have an interest in sports or competing or athletics of some kind. And you also use the term type A. Now tell me how that fits in with the woman you have in your mind.
Well, you know that athletes normally, in order to do a sport, they have to be really disciplined. They want it, and they want to be first place. And we always investigate. We always, we're always searching. So with this type A personality, even though they're going through these changes, they feel that they cannot let their guard down, and they have to keep on pushing themselves. And pushing themselves takes them to injuries, which is part of my story, and why life taught me that I have to start pushing so hard because my body cannot take it anymore. That bringing the stress is allowing me to maintain my weight and to keep my balance. But even yesterday, I talked to another two triathlon athletes, and they're having a lot of issues with their weight, and they're pushing themselves, and they're going to the gym, and they're saying, I'm doing everything right, I just don't get it. So that's the thing.
I love that last line. I'm doing everything right. That's a certain kind of person. Another kind of person says, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm probably doing everything wrong, but that's not this personality.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay. So that line, I'm doing everything right. And the other of pushing themselves so hard. How do you think that plays out for women, like outside of weight loss, maybe even outside of their health, just in other areas of their life?
I think that in general, women, when they're gaining weight, their logistic thinking is, oh, I just have to exercise a little bit more.
Mhm.
Or I just have to push. What happens is that I'm gaining weight because I'm not pushing myself enough. Where it is the contrary, because the stress of pushing themselves so much is not allowing them to lose that weight. And then they don't sleep. And if they don't sleep, they can't exercise. And it's a never ending story.
It sure is. But what I'm thinking is it must also infiltrate just this mindset of like, I have to be number one and I have to do all the things and I have to do them all right. Like, how does that play out at work? How does that play out in their families? Can you think of other things, areas that they're struggling with?
Oh, definitely. Even, for example, moms. I have to be the best mom, and my kids have to, apply to Ivy League schools, because if they don't apply to Ivy League schools, then it means that I'm not doing a good job as a mom. That's
Mhm.
another thing. And I went through that too. Am I doing things wrong? What is it? What's wrong with me? And you go through this low emotional state where you think that no matter how much you push yourself, it's not enough.
No matter how much I push myself, it's not enough. Yeah, this is a woman. I mean, yeah, it's her weight, but I bet she's got headaches, sleep issues, like you mentioned. If she doesn't already, she's headed towards autoimmune disease, right? There's a lot in her health sphere that's raising a red flag. But the thing she is most likely to talk to you about right now sounds like it's weight loss every time.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I got you. So it's really interesting because and we've done shows like this before where, a health coach says, I don't want to be a weight loss coach. I didn't get into this to help people lose pounds. And so that is 1000% valid. And meeting someone where they're at, also 1000% valid. So I'm wondering where we can meet her, maybe not instead of weight loss, but in addition to weight loss. Where can you meet her energetically? Where can you meet her in a way that you are resonating with her story? She's resonating with who you are. That's maybe not entirely focused around the health issue itself, but what you're describing to me is maybe a mindset, maybe an overall, I push myself too hard. I've always pushed myself too hard. It's showing up in my relationships, it's showing up at my job, it's showing up with my kids, it's showing up with my health. Is there a way of targeting this type of woman without specifically saying former athletes? And maybe tucking weight loss in, like within the bigger picture, something like, I help women, and this, but just for all of our listeners, inside our core curriculum, we always speak in terms of I help a certain type of person get a certain result. And so I'm just brainstorming off the top of my head here, but maybe it's like I help type A women 45 to 55 get over, this is not quite right, but like get over having to push themselves so damn hard, get over the health effects of pushing themselves so hard. Do you think that idea of pushing yourself too hard resonates with them? Could you have a conversation about that?
Oh, definitely. And type A personalities know what type A is, definitely. But it's very hard for them to recognize that if they're not type A, then who are they? It's like, how can I not be type A? This is who I am. And just how to address that, or just saying, are you really understanding that right now you don't feel as strong as you used to? That you're not in control of everything that you used to have in control. And this is bringing maybe some instability or doubt in your mind of what path to go.
Like it's backfiring on her at this point in her life.
Right.
She's probably noticing it. She might need someone to call it out. But that's interesting. What popped into my head was almost naming a health issue that, like a made up name for this collection of problems and this mindset altogether. Like maybe she's approaching something like the type A health fallout. And I don't think that's the exact right title, but that's just what like came to my head. You could almost like create a name for this phenomenon. And so then you can spend your career teaching women about this phenomenon and helping them get over it, recognizing it. They're gonna nod their head and say, yep, I'm having all those problems. It's not just the weight. It's also this. It's also the injuries that I've sustained from pushing myself so hard. It's also the sleep. It's also my marriage is on the rocks. It's also, etc. And you go, yes, of course, because that's the type A health fallout phenomenon or whatever you call it. And that's what I help you solve. Because it's a collection of issues.
It is a collection of issues. And maybe call it something like, I don't want to use the word control freak because so many people have used it, but type A reality check. I don't know. We have to play around with those words, but yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, right?
I know it. And I can connect with that and I can understand it. And I know that a lot of people and women with type A personalities will be able to connect with that and recognize that that's where they're going towards.
Right. And
not being able to control things and how crazy it makes them feel that they're not able to control things.
Yes, there's a lot of ways you could go with that. It reminds me of a meme that I've seen like on Instagram that's like, my therapist told me I have a type A personality, so I asked what I had to do to get a type A plus. Like that's the kind of stuff you're sharing with this audience. That's where they're going to laugh at themselves. And you don't have to be working with them as the goal of making them not type A or type B or something other than what they are, but maybe just like taking it down to like, let's just stick with A. We don't have to go for A plus every single day. Right? Like, I think that could be a message that they hear and they don't want to be a different person.
No, but the benefits that they could have if they bring it down a notch.
Right. And they know it because they've probably felt it maybe in small moments when they've actually relaxed or, they get glimpses of it. Is there can you think, and I'm really putting you on the spot here. So if the answer is no, we'll just skip right by this, but can you think of any moment in your own type A life where you learned how to exhale a little bit?
Oh, I mean, definitely. And it really helped. Say, for example, when I decided with my kids to just let go, just let them suffer the consequences of their actions. And it was like, man, I didn't know that I could do this. What a relief.
Yeah, I didn't know I could do this. I didn't know I could step back and just let the world not be controlled.
And it's okay. And it's okay if we're not perfect. And it's okay if we're not hitting the gym, 24/7. It's even, you know what? Not only not okay, you're going to discover that it's better for you to bring it down a notch.
Yeah. So part of helping her, it's such an interesting population. And I've worked with so many women like this in my own health coaching practice. It's so interesting because if you were to tell a woman like this, eat this many grams of protein, or, what diet do you want to follow, or whatever, like she will do that to the nth degree. So it's almost like unlearning how to follow the rules and like less about be the perfect person who takes the perfect supplements and does the perfect exercise routine. It's almost just undoing. Whereas when we're health coaching with other types of clients, we're helping them do those things. Are you up for that?
Well, it's going to be a challenge, definitely. But I think that the benefit is going to be a good one because this is the train that we're all on top of. And you got to do this and you got to do that and overwhelming. And, it's just I think that it was Julie that just put, if you have so many Post-its and you have a to-do list that's 100,000 things to do, you're not going to do them. So, let's bring it down a notch. So I really like that idea.
Yes, I know what you're talking about, because inside our Healthy Profit University group, like we'll have a post once a week to just get us thinking. And that was the one from this week. But do you have like a nested to-do list? Do you have, and these women do. These women have planners for their planners.
And then also, I think, Michelle, also recognizing how to start saying no, because we want to do it all.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? There's only amount of hours in the day. We cannot do it all. And not being able to do it all also stresses us out. So recognizing, when do we have to stop? We're not superwoman, although we think we are, but what's the limit? And what do we feel comfortable with without bringing our cortisol levels all the way to a point where we're not losing weight, or
Yep.
we are not sleeping,
Or
we're screaming.
If we just go back through this episode, I bet we could make a list of at least 10 to 20 topics that you can write about, speak about, hold workshops about. I mean, even just that concept of like learning to say no, that's a whole thing, or like not having to be the best mom, and connecting the dots to how it's impacting your health and what's on the other side. So Kristen's saying over here, by the way, she loves the idea of creating that term, but that like name for the phenomenon. She said it connects you with the client and sets you apart from other similar coaches. Yeah, there's something to be said for having it's our intellectual property. It's our proprietary blend for how we do the work. It's a framework. And if you can own that, that does make you different from Jane Smith, health coach, eat healthy, live a vibrant life. Thank you, Kristen, because I hear, when I see someone out there who is able to explain to me my own problem better than I even understand it, I mean, I just want to like hug them and let them take me on the ride, because clearly they know something. They've been seeing something that I haven't been seeing, and now I do. It's just eye-opening. But anyway, if we go through this episode and we, make this collection of like topics and things that you can talk about, and then you connect it back to their health issues, here's my question, and I'm not sure I know the answer, so help me. What's on the other side? If they can do this, they can just settle for type A or maybe even A- at times. What awaits them on the other side of the bridge?
Calm. Balance, not stressing their kids out, having a better connection with their family, maybe with themselves, being able to sleep at night, being able to really enjoy life, and then being able to have time to connect with friends as well, because if they're able to recognize, okay, I'm not going to be doing this, instead I'm going to be connecting with friends, then they feed their own emotional state, but then they're also starting to pay it forward to other people. So
I mean, it kind of sounds like winning.
It totally does.
Like the bigger win, like the life win. And, when we're younger, winning could mean like getting engaged and having the baby, or getting into the Ivy League school, or whatever, however we measure success when we're in our 20s and 30s. But now that she's 45 to 55, maybe you can talk to her about like, what does it mean to win? How has the game changed?
Definitely.
And so when you make that connection to her from, these various health issues, weight loss would be included with that, this whole phenomenon of living the type A life, you want to win. Like, let me actually help you win, because what you're doing right now is keeping you from all the things you just said: calm, connection, sleeping at night. Like, that's the goal now. And like,
Yeah,
we can all be winners.
you already went down that rabbit hole of chasing and doing.
Mm-hmm.
And where are you at right now? You're a bundle of nerves. You're not sleeping. You're screaming to your kids. You don't have time to see your friends. And are you really happy?
Yeah. And I mean, you can use all kinds of metaphors like the game has changed, or I don't know, we have to train differently now. You don't necessarily have to say, I work with former athletes, but I think you will find a lot of former athletes in this group. And even if they're not, they're going to understand what you mean with those sentiments. So you can lace your messaging like almost like life is this game or this sport, and we do want to win. Because she does. She
Yeah.
definitely does. But yes, the way she's been going about it, she's got to do it differently now. You have so much here. It's so juicy. What do you think?
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And the ideas are starting to pop. I'm definitely going to go back and watch this podcast so that I can take note of everything that we've talked about. And I think, changing the oh my God, I'm thinking in Spanish because
Because you're
I come from
excited.
Mexico, but yeah, because but it's like changing how your goal looks at the end and just being, daring to change the goal, changing what it has been dictated to you all your life, and then realizing, okay, but what is it that you really, really want?
And what you probably find, I only know this because I've worked with women in this capacity for so many years. At some point, they will come to the realization that their weight is the least important part of what they actually want. It's what they want right now. It's how they've been measuring their self-worth since they were old enough to hold a Barbie doll, but they'll come to that on their own. Some of them will lose weight, others won't, but the importance of it is going to just diminish when they see what else is available to them on the other side, where they're actually winning in this life. Katya, I'm very excited. We could probably talk about this for like another hour, but how does this feel different from like the way you were thinking about target markets before?
Because I was thinking in just one subject, and I wasn't linking everything. I wasn't assessing the language that we could use in order to provoke a mindset, a changing mindset. So I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, like an emotion, because yes, it's perfectly valid to say, as a health coach, I help people with type 2 diabetes, reverse symptoms, high blood sugar. That's totally valid. And you can totally do that. But there are all other ways to define your work. And when it can hit like an emotional place, a real transformation that lights up somebody's eyes, it's exciting for you. It's exciting for them. And now you don't just have like, it's not like a plumber who just comes to fix the pipes, you are actually like, it's the bigger picture. It's their whole life. It's not just this one issue. So I love the way we were able to bundle it, and we'll have to continue brainstorming on what to call the phenomenon. By the way, if anybody listening has a suggestion for what Katya can call what I so far have said, the type A health fallout, maybe that sounds negative. Maybe we need something else. The type A something, put it in the comments over here on Facebook, email it to support@healthcoachpower.com. We will make sure that you get all the suggestions, Katya, because it helps when we step outside ourselves. We use each other for like thinking and brainstorming. That's one thing that I like so much about all our work together inside of HPU. We get further faster when we can borrow each other's brains. So there's a little homework in case you guys didn't have enough to do. But if you do have an idea, just pop to mind, email it to us. Katya, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been a lot of fun.
It has been a lot of fun, Michelle. Thank you so much.
And thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.